All right. So as discussed, like this webinar is going to be showing some advanced steps on generating a block, an MSO shape from a block model. Those who already know me, welcome. And those who don't know me, I am a mining consultant at Datamine, and I've been in the position for almost 3 years. Before that, I was in operations in multiple mine sites, working on multiple commodities. And yeah, that's a bit about myself. This is just an overview of what Datamine has to offer. So we have solutions all the way from exploration till the end of the mine cycle. Today, we're going to be focusing on the planning as well as geology, because MSO is a topic that is covered, that covers both the geology aspects and the planning aspect. And these are some of our other solutions. As you can see, production, laboratories, and sustainability. We cover everything. All right. Without further ado, I'm going to start my demonstration now. Today I'll be looking at this ore body. As you can see, they've got 3 loads and they're a bit thicker from my previous webinar on MSO. And I'm using Studio RM interface, but the MSO section in both Studio RM and UG are exactly the same. So let's get started. I always start with the basic scenario so I can compare that with additional features. So I'll call it basic webinar. Okay, and I'm going to select my input block model, which is the main input, and then I'm going to use copper as my optimization field, and then a default of 2.4 for density. Everything else I'll keep the same. Under economics, I'm going to change that value to 0.15 discrete. Then orientation, I'll make this extends a bit smaller and focus on the center of the ore body. So I will manually update that. I have pre-calculated it. Zero, and then I'll change the framework limits. Okay, so focus on that area. All right, next I'll select my stoping method. It's going to be slice method, vertical, because it's a vertical ore body, along the y-axis. That's where my strike is, and it will create the framework. My strike, I will leave it at 20 meters, and height, I will leave it at 20 meters as well. And for my width, I'm going to use true width, 5 meters minimum and 30 meters maximum width. Pillar between parallel stopes or loads, I'm going to leave it at 10. Everything else is going to stay the same. Right, I'll run this scenario as a base. Okay, so let's have a look at the base scenario. That's my base scenario. I've got a number of stopes. Now I will look into a control wireframe. So what does a control wireframe does? So a control wireframe, which is the control surface, it applies dynamic dip and strike. What I mean by that is it guides MSO to follow a certain strike direction, as well as controls the dip. So I've got a control surface here. I'll just load that in the screen. So that's my control surface, and then we'll see what the difference holds. Okay, so let's have a look and compare it. So if I do a cross section, so with the control surface, you can sort of see that my ore bodies or my stope shapes are following that control surface. So that's the control surface. If you can see that the dip is according to that, trying to follow that control surface. All right, next I'm going to look into another feature, similar feature, called gradient strings. So I'm going to remove, I don't have my control surface anymore. Gradient strings is to control your level height. So if you have planned for multiple different height for your planning, as seen here, so as you can see that at the top, these are around 10 meters. Just measure. So vertical distance 10, and then this is 18, and this is roughly 25. So I've got varying heights. You can also vary the gradients as well for each of these strings. So let's run that. So the strike will follow the strings as well as the level heights. You can combine control wireframe and gradient string. However, I would recommend using one or the other, but you can combine them for a more refined result. Let's have a look at that. So as you can see, it's following the strings. So the height changes according to the gradient strings. Okay. Next, I'm going to show you how to use nested cutoff. So nested cutoff is basically you have multiple cutoff grades. So it's a sensitivity analysis that you can use. The sensitivity analysis or nested cutoff can have multiple uses. You can pick and choose based on the you can use filters and then pick and choose which stope shapes you want to keep, and then combine them, a mixture of higher grade and lower grade for your final mine plan. Or for geologists, you can check where to target your RC drillings and focus on those areas. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to create a legend for that. Based on my cutoff. And if I quickly filter them through, so that's 0.15, my original scenario. And then if I look at the more extreme, so you'll have less stopes, as you can see here. Okay, and finally I'm going to show you how to add attributes, which is custom output. Just going to change the color for reference. So So this is the command custom output fields command. So I'm going to use create copper tons, which is going to be, so you can use the fields from the block model or the engine. So from the, I'm going to combine my grade average from the block model, multiply that by the tons that the engine is going to create, and then divide that by 100 because it's in percentage. Okay. You can have multiple custom outputs as well. Okay, so let's review that. So if I select one of the stopes, say here, I'm just going to change that. Select by attribute. And then if I look at the data properties, you can see I've got a copper ton, which is simply multiplication of copper in the grade, the copper grade and tons. Thank you. Hopefully you've enjoyed what we have covered today. This is just a rehash of what we covered in the previous webinar versus what we covered today. In the previous webinar, I did cover about a bit of theory behind MSO, some of the key inputs and outputs that you get. And we did go through some of the basic controls like dilution skin, material exclusion, and stope smoothing. Those who haven't seen it, it's you can go check it out as well. And today what we've covered is control surfaces, gradient strings for varying level heights. Obviously, you can vary the gradient as well. And nested cutoffs and some custom output in terms of attributes. There's another webinar coming. I haven't decided on the topics yet, but if you want to see a specific feature or a combination of features together, please feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. These are my contact details. You can also visit our website, and if you're a customer, you can also share that in our support.